What's up, guys? It is 1:16 in the morning. I just finished watching 5 hours of wrestling. I had to work till 8:30 tonight, so I got home in time to start watching Raw. So I did watch Raw first. Raw was pretty good. Seeing Bret Hart was simply amazing. When he was introduced, I had the goose pimples all over my fucking body, because it was just an amazing feeling. It was like I was a kid again watching wrestling. But other than that, other than seeing Bret Hart, Raw was just, okay. There was nothing, spectacular about Raw whatsoever. Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton was a pretty good match. Randy Orton won. DX versus Jericho was typical. The only way DX can win is by having Hornswoggle interfere in the match. But I'm tired of ranting about that. I really am. But the whole ending of Raw was pretty interesting. With well, before I talk about that, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart reconciled. They made up, hugged, shook hands. And then Vince McMahon and Bret Hart had their little chit-chat at the end of Raw. Seemed like it was going to be an okay reconcile for them, but Vince McMahon kicks Bret Hart in the balls, and it ends the show. There was nothing really too crazy about Raw. Nothing exciting. Bret Hart was awesome to see, though. He looked in pretty decent shape. He looked okay. It was great to see him. Now on to TNA. All I can say is, wow, what a show. TNA pulled out every single stop there was, and they delivered. TNA owned Raw tonight. And I am a fan of both. And TNA simply put Raw in a chokehold and did not let go. It was an amazing show. We saw Jeff Hardy in TNA. We saw Ric Flair in TNA. We saw Orlando Jordan in TNA. We saw Sean Waltman in TNA. Scott Hall in TNA, Val Venus in TNA, Shannon Moore in TNA. We saw the Nasty Boys in TNA. I knew that was coming, but regardless, we saw some amazing appearances. Some weren't so amazing, but it was still cool to see them. We saw some great matches. I never saw that Steel Asylum match before, ever. It looked pretty dangerous. To escape the top of that cage, it just looked like it was impossible. Poor Homicide was trying to escape it, but he had to just let go and fall to the mat. But that was still a pretty wild match. We got to see Tara and ODB. Okay match. ODB won the title again, so she is now the Knockouts champion. We got to see an awesome TNA Knockouts tag team match where Taylor Wilde and Sarita, who were the defending champions, took on Awesome Kong and Hamada. We have new tag team Knockout champions, Hamada and Awesome Kong. It was an amazing match. We got to see Samoa Joe take on Abyss. That was a pretty okay match. Got to see Desmond Wolfe take on the Pope, which was really good. And Orlando. And the Pope got the win over Desmond Wolfe, which I really liked. Very good match. And then we got to see the main event. AJ Styles and Kurt Angle wrestled for like half an hour in what was like the most awesome match I've ever seen. I take that back. Not the most awesome match I've ever seen, but it was freaking amazing, guys. For you guys that aren't TNA fans, if you guys watch TNA, I hope that it changed your opinion on what TNA is. Because you cannot sit there and tell me that the WWE beat TNA on the Monday Night War. Because WWE didn't do shit. You know, I watched WWE first. I watched Raw first. And I was like, wow, it was a pretty good Raw. It was okay Raw. A lot better than what we haven't seen. But after watching TNA, Impact, I'm like, what the fuck ever. Raw didn't do shit compared to TNA. I mean, TNA honestly took this little Monday Night War very seriously. And I'm glad they did, because they did a great job, I thought. And, you know, it was awesome to see Hulk Hogan. The crowd really popped. The crowd was into this show the whole night, just like they always are. TNA fans are amazing. They give 125% every time they're, you know, at a show. And it was just awesome to see everything that happened. I'm glad I stayed up and watched everything. I'm looking forward to TNA, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm looking forward to Raw, too, just to see what happens with Bret Hart, because I'm still interested in that. But as far as, you know, weighing these two shows tonight, TNA did it, guys. That's just my opinion. But wow, I just can't get over how awesome the AJ Styles and Kurt Angle match was. It was simply amazing. And so, you know, the band tried to get back together when Hogan finally came out. X-Pac and Scott Hall were in the ring, or in the crowd I should say. Hogan comes out, and Hogan's got the NWO look going on. He's got the wearing all black, he's got the white mustache with the black stubble, you know, like his NWO days. And plus he has like this new remix version of the NWO theme music. I loved it. Eric Bischoff, of course, he made his debut as well. It was just awesome. I don't know if I'm sure I forgot a lot of things, but, you know, just a lot of stuff's running through my head, and I'm trying to get everything that I want out in this video. Yeah, Hulk Hogan didn't want to go back to the old ways of partying and not giving a fuck about anything, as Scott Hall and X-Pac were trying to convince him to do. And Kevin Nash came out. He was trying to convince him as well, but Hulk Hogan said, listen, I'm not here to party. I'm here to take care of business. And taking care of business is what he's doing. Ric Flair made an appearance at the beginning of the show and at the end during the main event. That was it. It was cool to see him. I know he's not going to be a wrestler. He's just going to be there, you know, as an associate, as a mentor, so to speak, to the other guys. It was cool to see Jeff Hardy. Very awesome impact. Very awesome. That's all I got to say. Go Disney. Peace out.